All right, so today I'm going to speak to you about genomics, in particular flock profiling and how you can benchmark and use this technology to drive profitability. Information is the next big age for agriculture, and it's about farming smarter. Scott Morrison also said in the next 30 years, the government is committed to agriculture being the $100 billion industry. So I guess good introduction to thanks. But as he said, farming runs in my veins. So I'm fifth generation on our family farm, and I have over 10 years experience in commercial breeding and plant breeding. And my co-founder, Corinne, has a major in genetics, plant science, and human resource management. So today, what we're looking at is selecting the very best. So it's a combination of common sense, visual selection, and genetics. So accelerating genetic gain will lead to increased performance. Performance equals environment by genetics, and because we're stuck with the environment we're working in, we're selecting for the genetics that best suit that environment. So, did you know that 70% of what you see in a sheep is due to what goes down its throat? You don't know the underlying genetics. And if you don't know the baseline, then it's pretty hard to know if your performance is improving. So here we're looking at traits for making money and saving money. In prime lamb production, it's about growth, carcass traits, and reproduction. In wool, it's about wool quality and quantity. And in saving money, it's about healthier and less maintenance sheep. And these are the traits that are being selected for. So the ASBV is an estimate of an animal's genetic merit, the breeding value, and how its progeny will actually perform. They're a way to benchmark your sheep versus the national average. And visually, as an example, between these two fictitious sheep, you don't actually know by sight its date of birth, if it's a twin or a single, a maiden or a mature ewe has given birth to it. It's also important to look at traits like worm resistance and the number of lambs weaned, which can't easily be visually assessed. So not all underperformers are the black sheep. We can't just rely on visuals. We want to be able to select out and keep the high performers for mating and cull out the low performers. Mainly here today to talk about the flock profile. So what the flock profile is a test of 20 young ewes at random to get the genetic spread. The flock profile provides the average of your genetic merit for commercially valuable traits, those ones listed down the side. Some of which are later in life, and they're difficult and can be difficult to measure, such as carcass traits. The animal has to be dead. Also, on your flock profile, you'll notice the percentile. So that's where, for each of these traits, you can compare against the sheep genetics database, 0 being the top and 100 being the worst. So the ASBV is actually an estimate based on the resource flock, which is 5,000 ewes mated to 100 industry size annually. And then this is also scaled up to the sheep genetics database, which is about 125,000 merinos each year. So your actual flock profile results are directly comparable to ASBVs. So you can use this data to sell ewes, but you can also use this to make better ram buying selections. So if you have your flock profile to increase genetic gain on farm, you're selecting for rams with a higher ASBV for the traits that you're interested in. And you can make better ram team allocations within your breeding program. So it's all about tracking performance. What we see here in this example, they're selecting for wool, but they're also selecting for selling surplus rams. So their objective, therefore, they are targeting wool quality, clean fleece weight, weaning percentage, and growth. And what what a flock profile enables over the years is you to keep track of your breeding objective, and you want it to always increase over time. And that's the case within their progeny, but also in their sire ram team. So farmers get paid on their genetics, and if their genetics aren't performing on their property, then they're making less value. So we want to select for higher quality and higher fleece weight. We want to maximise, like Jason said earlier, lambing percentage, and we're wanting to select for lamb survival to weaning. Here you can see an arbitrary numbers comparing the difference between this flock. You can't visually see the differences here, but it means that they're not all animals in your flock are equal, and that's what we call genetic variance. So there are 4 key profit drivers on farm: the fibre diameter, the fleece weight, the body weight, and the reproduction. This is a case study that was done around fleece weight and fibre diameter. What you can see between these individuals is that there's a $4 difference per progeny, so their offspring, between the fleece weights, and also a $7 difference in the micron. So if you look at the difference between the 2 sires in the green box, that equates to about $11 difference. Doesn't sound like a lot, but then if you have a ram team average at that higher value, and say you put them over 1,000 ewes, that could be an extra 12 grand productivity on farm, just in your wool production system per year. Then if you add reproduction and growth characteristics on top of that, you're increasing your value even more. So our competitive advantage is understanding breeding, the highest return of data so far. We're returning 99.3% of results, and we have a quick turnaround time. We also speak the language of our clients as well, from a farming background. We also offer trait development for our clients, so a full suite of genomics as well. So we offer the flock profile, which we talked about, the genomic test parentage, and gene tests such as pole horn, and some other traits. Aside from that, we consult with the industry and advise committees and mentor businesses, so we're keeping our finger on the pulse of how the industry is moving. And if you want to do some flock profiling, come and see me at the end of this. If not, my contact details are up there if you want to contact me later. But I'll leave you with this point. Farmers get paid on their genetics, and if their genetics aren't performing, then you're eroding the gross margins. Thank you.